Now the question number 21. When a resistor of 11 ohms is connected in series with an electric bell, the current flowing in it is 0.5 amperes. Instead, when a resistor of 5 ohms is connected to the same electric cell in series, the current increases by 0.4 amperes. The internal resistance of the cell is how much? So first of all, to solve this one, we are having the formula, the current I is equal to EMF divided by resistance and internal resistance. So in the case 1, what is given here? R is equal to 11 ohms and the current which is flowing through that is I is equal to 0.5 amperes. Now substituting in that, 0.5 is equal to E divided by 11 plus small r. This is number 1. Then afterwards in second case, when the resistor that is 5 ohms which is connected in series to that, then what happens to the current here? Current increased by 0.4 amperes. That means initially 0.5 amperes plus 0.4 amperes. That means I is equal to 0.9 amperes. Now substituting in this equation, 0.9 is equal to E divided by, that is the resistance 5 plus that is small r. This is the equation number 2. Then what happens here? Equation 2 divided by 1. Then what happens in this case here? 0.9 divided by 0.5 is equal to E divided by 5 plus R into 11 plus R divided by E. First E gets cancelled and here 9 by 5 is equal to 11 plus R divided by 5 plus R. Cross multiplication, 45 plus 9R is equal to 55 plus 5R. So here 9R minus 5R is equal to 55 minus 45. That is 4R is equal to 10. Here R internal resistance is equal to 10 by 4. 2 5s are 2 2s are. So R is equal to 2.5 ohms. Now what is the option here? C. This is a solution for question number 21. Now the question number 22. Thomson coefficient of a conductor is 10 microvolt Kelvin. The two ends of it are kept at 50 degrees centigrade and 60 degrees centigrade respectively. The amount of heat absorbed by the conductor when a charge of 10 coulombs flows through it is how much? So first of all, given values, that is Thomson coefficient of conductor sigma is equal to 10 microvolt Kelvin. So micro is nothing but 10 to the power of minus 6 volt Kelvin. And here charge is given, Q is equal to 10 coulomb and temperature that is 50 degrees centigrade and 60 degrees centigrade. So the rise in temperature delta T is equal to 60 degrees centigrade minus 50 degrees centigrade is equal to 10 degrees centigrade. But here which one we want to calculate here? Amount of heat absorbed by the conductor. So that means heat absorbed by conductor H is equal to sigma times delta T into Q. Now is equal to sigma means how much here? 10 into 10 to the power of minus 6 into rise in temperature that is 10 and charge is 10. 10 to the power of 3 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So here how much answer here? 10 to the power of minus 3 joules. So that means 10 to the power of minus 3 is nothing but milli. That means 1 millijoules. So which is the option here? D. Now the question number 23. A wire is in the form of square side A, carries a current I then the magnetic induction at the center of the square is how much? Magnetic permeability of free space, that is given mu naught. So A, B, C, D is a wire, it is forms as a square. So the current which must be flows through the wire, that is I is the current which flows, and the side which we are taking, that is A. I want to find the magnetic field of induction at the center of the square. So to calculate that the center of the wire, so we will take like this. That means the magnetic field of induction at the center of the square from all the sides, not only one side. First of all we will calculate one side, then afterwards it should be multiplied with all the four sides. So here this is complete A, means this one is A by 2 and this is also A by 2. So here which one we want to calculate here? Magnetic field of induction at the center of the square. So first of all I will take magnetic field of induction by the side AB. So to calculate by the side AB at center O, that is according to Biot and Savart's law, that is B is equal to mu naught I by 4 pi r sin phi 1 plus sin phi 2. This is the formula. So this is 45 degrees and this is 45 degrees. So I will take this one as B1 is equal to mu naught I by 4 into pi, that r is nothing but A by 2 times sin 45 degrees plus sin 45 degrees. Here B1 is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi A sin 45, that is 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root 2. On solving of this one, B1 is equal to, we are getting the answer is 2 root 2 mu naught I divided by 4 pi A. So by solving this one we will get this answer. But which one we want to calculate here? Magnetic field of induction at center O from all the sides. From all the sides. Here from AB that we calculate from all the sides means that we will take as B is equal to 4 times B1. So here 4 times 2 root 2 mu naught I divided by 4 pi A. It should be calculated, 4 gets cancelled, 2 root 2 mu naught I divided by pi into A. So which option is correct here? Option C is correct. Now the question number 24. If a change in current is 0.01 amperes in one coil produces a change in flux is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 Webers in the other coil. So then the mutual induction of two coils in Henry is how much? So first of all we will take the coil 1. This is the coil 1 and here I will take this one as coil 2. So in coil 1 what happens here? This is so in coil 1 the current, that is change in current, delta I is equal to 0.01 amperes. Due to this we are getting the change in flux in the second coil 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 Webers. But which one we want to calculate here? Mutual induction, that is mutual induction, that mutual induction M is equal to delta phi divided by delta I. So that means delta phi, that is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 divided by I 0.01. So here on calculation of that, 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 divided by 10 to the power of minus 2, both gets cancelled. So here 2 Henry. So which option is correct here? C option is correct. Now the question number 25. A particle of mass 0.6 grams and having charge of 25 nanocoulombs is moving horizontally with a uniform velocity 1.2 into 10 to the power of 4 meters second to the power of minus 1 in a uniform magnetic field, then the value of magnetic induction, that take G is equal to 10 meters second to the power of minus 2. So to calculate the value of magnetic induction and a charge which is projected into the field, and also that is given charge 25 nanocoulombs. So first of all, what are the given values I will write here. First of all, mass M is equal to 0.6 grams, that is 0.6 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kilograms, and another one that is given, that is projected charge is projected into the field, that is 25 nanocoulombs, that is 25 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulombs, and which is projected with a velocity, that is V is equal to 1.2 into 10 to the power of 4 meters second to the power of minus 1. And also this is in a uniform magnetic field. It is projected in a uniform magnetic field. Then magnetic induction is required. When it is the magnetic field is uniform, their acceleration that becomes 0. So that means what happens in this case? Weight of particle balanced by force on particle by magnetic field. So that means weight of the particle I will take as mg, and force on the particle by the magnetic field, that is qvb. That means weight is nothing but mg is equal to, that is force. That force is nothing but qvb. So here I want to calculate which one? Magnetic field. So B is equal to m into g divided by qv. So mass 0.6 into 10 to the power of minus 3, g 10 divided by charge, that is 25 into 10 to the power of minus 9, and velocity 1.2 into 10 to the power of 4. So by calculation of this, 6 into 10 to the power of minus 3 divided by 30 into 10 to the power of minus 5. On calculation of this one, we are getting the solution as 20 Tesla. So which option is correct here? C is the option correct. The question number 26. Photoelectric emission is observed from a metallic surface for frequencies nu1 and nu2 of incident light rays, nu1 greater than nu2, if the maximum values of kinetic energy of photoelectrons emitted in two cases are in the ratio 1:k, then the threshold frequency of metallic surface is how much? So first of all, we will write the formula for maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons, that is Ke max is equal to h nu minus h nu naught. So first of all, in this one, mu is nothing but frequency of incident radiation, and nu naught, this is nothing but threshold frequency of metallic surface. So here first of all I will write for this one kinetic energy 1, K1 is equal to H nu 1 minus H nu naught, and K2 is equal to H nu 2 minus H nu naught. But here the ratio we will find, that is K1 by K2 is equal to H common nu 1 minus nu naught divided by H times nu 2 minus nu naught. Both H and H gets cancelled. K1 is nothing but 1, K2 is nothing but K, is equal to nu 1 minus nu naught divided by nu 2 minus nu naught. On cross multiplication of these two, we are getting nu 2 minus nu naught is equal to K times nu 1 minus nu naught. So here nu 2 minus nu naught is equal to K into nu 1 minus K into nu naught. So all nu naught one side and remaining that side. So here minus nu naught plus K into nu naught is equal to K V1 minus, that is nu 1 minus nu 2. So in this here nu naught common, K minus 1 is equal to K into nu 1 minus nu 2. But here nu naught is equal to, threshold frequency nu naught is equal to K into nu 1 minus nu 2 divided by K minus 1. So it is the solution for this, and the option is B. Now the question number 27. The de Broglie's wavelength of an electron having 80 electron volt energy is nearly dash. Mass of electron is given 9 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg, and 1 electron volt value given 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules, and Planck's constant value, that is 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules per second, that is also given. But here which one we want to calculate? De Broglie's wavelength. So here we will write the formula for that one. De Broglie's wavelength equation, that is equal to lambda is equal to H divided by square root over 2m times energy, that is E. Energy is nothing but kinetic energy. So first of all, here given energy is equal to, that is kinetic energy is equal to 80 electron volt. But here electron volt means what is that? 1.6 given, 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. So on multiplication of these two, how much we are getting here? 100, and that is 80 into 1.6, that is 128 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. And also given Planck's constant value, that is H is equal to 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules per joule second. And also mass of electron is given, that is here this is mass of electron is equal to 9.1, that is 9 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kilograms. Now substituting all these values in this equation, then what is that? So here lambda is equal to H, means 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 divided by square root over 2 into 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 into, that is mass of electron, and energy, that is 128 into 10 to the power of minus 19. So here 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 divided by square root over, this is 9.1, that is only 9 here, 9, 2 into 128, 256 into 9 into 10 to the power of minus 31 minus 19. So is equal to 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 divided by square root over 256 into 9 into 10 to the power of minus 50. So here 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 divided by 256 root is 16 and 9 root is 3, and for this root is 10 to the power of minus 25. So is equal to 6.6 divided by 48 into 10 to the power of minus 34 and plus 25. So 6.6 divided by 48, that we will take as 0.137 into 10 to the power of minus 9. So here 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 10. So here 1.4 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. So here 1.4, this one I will take as 1 angstrom unit, 1.4 angstrom unit. So the option for this one is D. Now the question number 28. Consider the following statements A and B and identify the correct choice in the given answers. A. Tightly bound electrons of target material scatter X-ray photons resulting in the Compton effect. B. Photoelectric effect takes place with the free electrons. Here options are given. A. Both A and B are false, and B. A is true but B is false. C. A is false but B is true. Both A and B are true. But one thing remember here, out of this one, which one is correct option? So first we will take A. This is tightly bound electrons or target material scatter X-ray photon resulting in the Compton effect. But here tightly bound electrons is wrong. That means free electrons of target material scatters. So that's why this is wrong. And B, photoelectric effect takes place with free electrons. Here free electrons is wrong because tightly bound electrons are responsible for photoelectric effect. So that means A and B both are false. So that means both A and B are false. Option A is correct. Suppose if free electrons are given here, tightly bound electrons are given here, means both A and B are true. But here oppositively given, so that's why option A is correct. Now the question number 29. A heavy nucleus at rest breaks into two fragments which fly off with velocities are in the ratio 3:1. The ratio of radii of the fragments is how much? So here we want to calculate the radii of the fragments. So first of all, what is the given here? Velocity ratio given. So that means V1 is to V2 is equal to 3:1. So that means these two are velocities. Remember. And here nucleus breaks up into two fragments. So that means immediately we are having the law, that is law of conservation of momentum. So that means mass into velocity is equal to constant. That means momentum is constant. Initial and final momentum. Here mass means what is that here? Volume into density into speed is equal to constant. So that means volume, density and speed is equal to constant, some constant k. Here volume means what is that here? Heavy nucleus at rest breaks. So that means that is sphere in shape. So that's why 4/3 pi r cube into rho into speed is equal to some constant k. But here I want to get the relation between radius and velocity. So that means what is that here? Radius is inversely proportional to the velocity. So that means what happens in this case here? R1 divided by R2 whole cube is equal to V2 divided by V1. So that means R1 divided by R2 whole cube is equal to V2 means what is that here? 1 divided by V1 3. 3:1 no, that is reverse 1:3. So here R1 divided by R2 is equal to 1/3 whole to the power of 1/3. So here we will write R1 is to R2 is equal to 1:3 to the power of 1/3. 1 to the power of 1/3, 3 to the power of 1/3. But here we will get 1, 3 to the power of 1/3. So R1 is to R2 is equal to 1:3 to the power of 1/3. So where is the option here? A is the option. Now the question 30. While a collector to emitter voltage is constant in a transmitter, the collector current changes by 8.2 milliamperes when the emitter current changes by 8.2 milliampere. The value of forward current ratio is how much? So first of all, in transmitter, here first we will take collector, that is C, and here this is emitter, I will take E. But in this one, the current changes IC is equal to 8.2 milliampere and current IE, that is 8.3 milliamperes. But in this case, what happens here? Voltage is constant. It's constant. But what is the value of forward current ratio? So one thing, the current change in the collector is equal to 8.2 milliampere. Current change in the emitter is equal to 8.3 milliampere. But here I want to find the base current. So here base current delta IB, base current is equal to delta IE minus delta IC, that is 8.3 milliampere minus 8.2 milliampere is equal to 0.1 milliampere. But which one we want to calculate? Forward current ratio. So that means forward current ratio. Forward current ratio means what is that here? Delta I collector divided by delta I base. So that means current is, that is in collector 8.2 divided by 0.1. There we are getting that 8.2 divided by 0.1, we are getting the answer is 8.2. Now what is the option for this? C is the correct option for this question.